welcome to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. We are going to be having a good time on this edition of the show. We have two comedians in the studio, Doug Gillon and Richard Douglas Jones. If you are familiar with local comedy, and I'm not just going to say local because they travel all over to give shows, then I'm sure you're familiar with these two gentlemen. They're in the studio, and we're going to just talk about a couple of events that they have coming up and share those with you, and then just talk about why they are interested in being involved in comedy. What do they get from it? We're going to have that dialogue right here on Dialogue with Deidre, and that's going to be in the first half hour of the show. The second half hour of the show, we are going to talk about the NAACP Memphis branch has a big event coming up on next week, and we're going to talk about that event and just politics. We're going to close it out with politics, national politics. You're watching Dialogue with Deidre. Stay with us. Post questions on the Dialogue with Deidre Facebook page. We'll be back in a moment.
Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. Their licensed professional pharmacists provide excellent service while filling your wellness needs. They have $4 generic plans and they accept all major insurance providers. And they even offer free delivery for senior citizens. At Taylor Brown, they pride themselves on the personal care and attention they give every customer. Ask about their uninsured discount pharmacy program. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. They're located 3333 Shelby Drive. Give them a call today at 901-794-3690 or visit them online, TaylorBrownGroup.com. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
I'm Dominique Dawes. How do you start your day? I always start with a healthy breakfast. Whether you're practicing for a game or studying for a test, eating breakfast every day can improve your concentration and help you perform your best. Kids who eat a healthy breakfast have more energy to work hard and play hard. That's why you should check out your school's breakfast program. It's for everyone, so make sure you energize your day. Eat school breakfast.
Just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier. Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.
Okay, I'm already laughing. Welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre. In the studio, Doug Gillon and Richard Douglas Jones. Welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here.
Really?
Yeah. Cool. Right now I am.
Yeah.
So viewers, a couple of comedians, known. They do shows across the country, but based here in Memphis, so we're glad to have you on the show. Doug, why are you interested in comedy?
I was always a performer growing up. I don't think my parents could ever get me to shut up as a kid. So with comedy, that was a situation where it was okay for me to talk for a long period of time without being interrupted. But of course, once you get into it, just making people laugh is as fun a thing as there is.
What about you, Richard?
Kind of similar to Doug. I have, as long as I can remember, I've always been that kid during like family gatherings. They sent me out to kind of entertain everybody. My background's in theater, and to me, comedy is just theater. I just write my own lines.
You do? Mm-hmm. Just based on what? Just everyday issues, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyday issues, just personal stuff, a little bit of everything.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing stand-up for about 7 years.
7 years? Mm-hmm. What about you, Doug?
I'm getting into 3.
3?
So I'm a baby, a sophomore as it goes in terms of getting started. Just barely crawling out of open micer.
So talk to me about how you got started, Richard.
Okay. It started back in 2009. In 2009, I was working at the Peabody Hotel for a company, audiovisual company there, and I was dating a woman. We had been together for almost 3 years, and we were living together. One day at the Peabody, somebody jumped off the roof and killed themselves, and my coworker and I were the first people to find the body. Called the girlfriend, told her all about this. She gets home later on that day and decides that she wants to break up with me that day. Thing is, when you find a dead body and your girlfriend dumps you in the same day, productivity tends to go down. So, the official thing was budget cuts. That was their official tag. So, it was very much a last hired, first fired kind of thing. And so after that, it just kind of went downhill from there. And comedy is something that I tried when I was in college and a couple of other times, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take a real run at this. And to kind of battle that depression, I would go and do open mics. So there were some days where I wouldn't get off the couch except to go to like open mics. So comedy very much saved my life.
So it's therapeutic.
Yes. Yeah, I'll definitely say that. It was very much therapeutic, yes.
And so what does it feel like when you're, could be a crowd of 2, could be a crowd of 20, 50. How do you feel when you walk out on that stage to perform?
Nervous, always nervous. I get nervous every time because I believe that it's not up to me to decide what's funny. It's always up to the audience, and so I don't know if what I'm saying is funny until they laugh. So I'm at least with the very first joke, I'm always nervous. I get up, I hit that first joke, and if it doesn't hit, then there's a problem. But if it hits, then it's like, all right, it hit. I'm funny. Let's keep it moving.
Doug, what about you? When did you know that this was something that you wanted to do, and how did you get started?
Oh, well, very early. I mean, I didn't quite have the same day Richard did.
Because that was an awful day. Richard had an awful day,
to say the least.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to know comedy people in town. I wrote a story in grad school about. I was trying to write a story about a scene that a lot of people didn't know about, an art scene or something like that. And so I kind of found these people and got to know them. And then a year later, I was driving by Papa Lounge and they had a sign, open mic tonight. And I thought, well, hell, you know. So I stopped by and was talking to them. They were like, you should go up. And I did. And then that felt really, I wasn't any good, but it felt.
Weren't you a guitar act when you first started?
Yeah, that was later. Yeah. Yeah, well, the first time I went up, I was a character, which was basically a rip-off of a Saturday Night Live character they used to have called Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, and I had this leather jacket on, and my hair wasn't quite this long, but it was kind of greasy, and I was Unfrozen 50s cool guy, and I just did, like I said, it wasn't any good, and then I did some guitar stuff for a while, and then really bad stand-up for about 6 months, but even when I was that bad every week, something felt right. It felt like this was something that I wanted to be doing. I mean, I had worked as a performer before, storytelling, music, poetry, all kinds of different things for the longest time as a musician. But that felt more comfortable, I think, than anything else. And so it was, like Richard said, a reason to go back. And every day you get, it always reminded me of the movie Fight Club a little bit. They said Fight Club was the reason to cut your nails or this, that, the other. And at that point I was going and nobody really, was coming up to me, or people were nice to me and they were supportive, but I was bad, so it wasn't like a positive experience. But I kept wanting to go back. I couldn't stop, because every now and then maybe something would hit just a little bit and you'd be like, okay, we figured this out. We learned this. And I'm not going up and dying at every open mic anymore, but I think even now every performance and every open mic is still a chance to learn something.
But you both have to be like a glutton for punishment, because if you go out there every day and if your jokes don't make it, if people don't.
I'm a substitute teacher for Memphis City. so getting
Richard.
A crowd, a classroom full of teenagers is if I can deal with that, an unruly audience is a cakewalk. I can, they're fine.
Okay.
Glutton for punishment, maybe, but like my regular day job keeps me plenty. It knocks me down a peg on a regular basis. Like,
Doug, what about you?
Yeah,
your day job.
my day job is not punishment. I have a nice office and a nice building, walking distance from home, and I get to go see my wife whenever I ask. So I cannot complain at all about where I work.
Good answer.
I like that response. Okay, so in terms
should have asked for a raise, Doug.
on air.
On the spot.
Quick question. In terms of comedians, is there anybody that you think is pretty good that you look to say, okay, when I really, really blow up, I'd like to be like?
No, not at all. No,
okay.
There are definitely comics that I admire, but no. If I were ever wanting to stand out as a comic, I want to make sure to stand out. I don't ever want to be compared to another
anyone?
Comic, because to me that diminishes my brand, and it diminishes the stand up that I'm trying to produce.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
As far as comics that I admire, of course, you've got the classics: Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Chris Rock. There's a guy out by the name of Bill Burr who's amazing. Patton Oswalt. I could go on and on and on and on and on.
Good.
Wanda Sykes.
She's funny.
She's amazing. Wanda Sykes cracks me up. Yeah.
What about you, Doug?
I think I'm with Richard in the idea that you don't necessarily want to become someone else. I know that comparisons are probably inevitable, but you want to create something new and fresh to the extent that you can. Along with, of course, being funny. But yeah, it's easy to look up to anybody who's really good. and anybody who's been successful, there's certainly something to look up to, even if there's not, maybe a preference there. But, Norm Macdonald has always been a guy that I just couldn't ever get enough of. There was this simplicity in what he was doing, that everything seemed obvious, but the way he sold it and the way he delivered it made it so unique. I always liked that. When I was in college, we listened to Mitch Hedberg all the time because he was so smart. He was writing short, simple jokes, but they were so smart, and we loved that. And then Brian Regan is a guy who I can almost never get enough of.
Brian Regan. These are people I've not heard of.
Okay.
I mean, but it looks like, Richard, you've opened for some of the people that you admire.
I have, and that's
pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's been really fun.
How was that? It's kind of setting the tone for you going up doing your set, and then they come behind you and do their set.
It's great because I get to meet these people that I admire. 2, these people that I admire get to see me do my thing.
Yeah.
And in doing so, it definitely helps to, not necessarily a peer, but definitely, a member of the fraternal order that is stand-up comics, because it very much is a sort of secret society. Like, we're able to get access to comics that other people aren't, just by saying the words, "Hey, I'm a comic," and they're like, "Oh, you should have told me you were a comic. Come hang out."
You go up,
yeah. What, you doing time? Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Do you
really?
5 minutes?
Absolutely. I've seen it time and time again. Like, they're, "Oh my God, yeah, what's your autograph? How are you?" And I come up to, "Hey, how you doing? I'm a comic." And they're like, "Dude, come hang out."
Wow. Okay, guys, let's talk about the Memphis comic scene. What's going on here in Memphis? Are there, you guys are on the scene, you're doing your thing. Are there some other fresh new comics coming up the ranks?
There's always somebody. There's, like 4 or 5 open mics a week?
Yeah,
there's 4 or 5 open mics a week, and there's somebody that starts brand new every week. At every open mic. So, there's some that, kind of hang in for the duration, and then there's some, 2 months, and then you never see them again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But some people will I think every 1 to 2 months you'll get a little batch of 1 to 2 comics that are going to stick around, and you see them continually improve, so that's great. In terms of the scene, just in the past 2 years, everything, especially independent stuff, has really gotten bigger. Like Richard said, we went from 1 to 2 mics a week to 4 to 6.
Wow.
Now, and we went to maybe 1 or 1.5 independent showcases a month to, I think this month there might have been 15 independent showcases. Although because Benny had 4 or 5.
Oh yeah.
This month was kind of an anomaly.
Okay.
But in a normal month, you'd still see between 5 or 7.
6,
something like that, and that's a lot. You don't necessarily want something every day.
Okay.
You don't want to wear people out unless you're running the club. But the club in in Cordova, Chuckles, has continued to stay open and to do well, from what I understand. So
they advertise a great deal. You're always seeing who's coming in town, and and so how do you get the word about the different sets that you have coming, around town?
Social media is
big.
Usually the biggest way to promote these days, but at the same time, you've still gotta put the rubber to the road and go out and put out posters and flyers and stuff like that. But social media has definitely helped with marketing. It definitely, it helps a whole lot.
Yeah, and because I think our scene has grown organically, kind of from the ground up. I mean, it sprang out of 1 to 2 open mics and then evolved into shows and these, that, and the other things, with people in the audience telling their friends and telling their friends and telling their friends. That the organic results we get from social media are usually very positive.
Yeah.
And so they're incredibly effective because we already have built-in followings and built-in interest on those platforms.
Talk to me about 2 events you got coming up. One is the Tuesday show comedy.
Yeah, that's my thing. Tuesday show is this Tuesday at the Brass Store downtown. We've got Katrina Coleman, who is the she's the headliner of our show, and she's also the CEO of the Memphis Comedy Festival, which is coming up over the weekend, that following weekend, March 31st through April 3rd, and that'll have I think it's 15 to 20 comedy events about 60 hours of live comedy during the festival.
I've lost count.
Yeah, so we've got Katrina headlining Tuesday show, which is kind of like a soft open for Comedy Fest because it has some people affiliated with Comedy Fest performing on it.
You have so many people listed.
Right.
So it's probably about 20?
The performers
15,
for
20?
Comedy Fest is 50 or 60.
Really?
Include hosts, local hosts, and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's...
How much time do they have to perform?
Just depends on the show. Everybody's probably going to get at least 10 minutes, and they're guaranteed to be on at least 2 shows. So they're everybody will do at least 20 minutes of comedy. Most of the people that are coming are on more than 2 shows, but everybody's getting at least 2 shows.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, some people will show up on podcasts or on different kind of themed shows, which are more interactive or require more time. But
what does that cost? Does that cost something to get into the Memphis Comedy Festival?
Most of the shows, I believe, are there's a list of ticket prices on the website and a full schedule at memphiscomedyfestival.com. But I think most of them are $7, and then
that's not bad.
Right? No, it's we try and keep it all pretty affordable.
The most expensive show we have is our headliner show, and that's $25. But if you get a festival pass, then you
can come on in.
It pays for itself.
Okay, and how much is the festival pass?
Was it 80?
Yeah, I think we are unprepared for
that.
we
can.
I don't do
marketing. No, marketing is not. That's not my. Yeah, no.
That's me.
If only there was someone here who does marketing for the festival, Doug.
Doug.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break.
Comedyfestival.com.
And then Doug's gonna text somebody and find out the answer to that question. And when we come back, you're watching Dialogue with Deidre. We'll have the answer to that question.
Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. Their licensed professional pharmacists provide excellent service while filling your wellness needs. They have $4 generic plans and they accept all major insurance providers. And they even offer free delivery for senior citizens. At Taylor Brown, they pride themselves on the personal care and attention they give every customer. Ask about their uninsured discount pharmacy program. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. They're located 3333 Shelby Drive. Give them a call today at 901-794-3690 or visit them online, TaylorBrownGroup.com. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore.
I like to ride my bike to get some exercise, just kind of clear my head.
I like to ride because it's really fun for me and my fiance to go ride together.
I started riding my bike as a way to save money on gas.
I like to ride my bike mostly because it's fun and it's good exercise.
That's how I get everywhere. It's how I go to grocery stores, to go to work. It's how I go to my friend's house.
Sometimes I just like to not even have a particular destination in mind, just to see different parts of the city.
Just going through the park, you see people, and if you're on your bike, you can smile or say hello.
I own 5 bikes. The green Schwinn is my grandfather's bike, and every time I ride it, and he can be with me where I go.
I'm not burning gas, I'm not polluting the air. And in a way, it kind of gets me back to the kid in me, which is kind of cool.
And now, let's take some questions from the public.
Mr. Chairman, why do we keep cutting back on education?
Governor, you want to take that question?
Mr. Chairman, let's give this one to the Senate Majority Leader.
Since this matter was taken up in AB 3712, I think it best if I defer to the Assembly Majority Leader.
Actually, pursuant to Department of Education statutes, the State Secretary of Education would be more qualified to answer. Mr. Secretary.
My legal team has advised me not to comment at this time, so I'll humbly refer to our State Superintendent of Schools.
Pass. Definitely pass. Okay, County Superintendent.
Well, young lady, it's just too complicated.
Can you tell me who's responsible for my education?
That is a good question. Governor?
Repeat the question, please.
I I don't see why I can't get an answer from
You're
my...
asking a lot of difficult questions.
Oh, she sure is.
Who are you?
Well, I'm the governor.
What is this?
Your 2 minutes are up.
Stop the circus. Contact your legislators at thisbudgetblows.com.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
I'm Dominique Dawes. How do you start your day? I always start with a healthy breakfast. Whether you're practicing for a game or studying for a test, eating breakfast every day can improve your concentration and help you perform your best. Kids who eat a healthy breakfast have more energy to work hard and play hard. That's why you should check out your school's breakfast program. It's for everyone, so make sure you energize your day. Eat school breakfast.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.
I'm still laughing, y'all. Welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre. My guest in the studio, Doug Gillon and Richard Douglas Jones. Okay, Doug, how much is it going to cost to go to the Memphis Comedy Festival?
Most shows are between $7 and $10, but a festival pass will get you into any of the more than 20 shows all weekend long. Is $70, and you can get that online at memphiscomedyfestival.com.
Marketing guy, thank you so much. Okay, I wanted to, before the guys get off the show, I wanted to talk to Richard about the Black Nerd Power Comedy Hour.
What would you like to know?
Whatever you want to tell me.
Well, the Black Nerd Power Comedy Hour is done in conjunction with my podcast. I host a weekly podcast called Black Nerd Power.
You got a lot of followers, too.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty big audience.
We're getting a pretty big audience. If only, I had some marketing firms to help me bring in some revenue so I could stop substitute teaching. The Black Nerd Power is a weekly podcast that I produce with two of my very, very close friends, and we talk about we talk about a lot of things. As the nerd name would imply, we talk about science fiction and fantasy and all kinds of pop culture, but from an African American POV, and then in addition to that, we talk about politics and things that are happening.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. We talk about current events and things that we've kind of seen, as well as we'll talk about the idiot that is Donald Trump. But on the same show, we'll talk about love and hip hop. So like it just kind of goes all over the place. And as a comic myself, and a lot of the guests that we've interviewed for the show have been comics, to me, the natural progression was to create a comedy show. And so in creating a comedy show, the show that I wanted to create was specifically for people of color who do different material, coming out of the shadows of the comic views and the Def Comedy Jams and things of that nature. That has created a very specific culture, and to a lot of people, that is all that black comedy is.
Right.
But that is not the case, because as you know, the black experience is not a homogenous
It's
one.
not.
And that should also be reflected in the comedy. So I'm as I go out and travel and go to festivals and things of that nature, I'm meeting other comics of color who are in their own individual cities are as it were the only Klingon on the Starship Enterprise. So I
been there, done that.
Right. So I wanted to kind of find a place where all of those people could get together and showcase their talents.
Wonderful.
But in addition to that, the Black Nerd Power Comedy Hour is actually the headliner show.
Okay.
For the Memphis Comedy Festival this year. So just tied it all together.
Sounds like fun.
It's a lot of
now,
fun.
if somebody wants to listen to your podcast or view your podcast, can they view it
No,
online?
just listen
to your podcast.
Yes.
Where do they go?
You can check out the Black Nerd Power on iTunes or Stitcher, or you can go directly to the network's website. It is theoamnetwork.com/BNP, as in Black Nerd Power.
Wonderful. Now, I'm not going to let you out of here without each of you telling a little joke for my audience. Something really
Have at it, rookie.
You're the rookie. You have to go first, Doug.
Well, okay, I went to University of Missouri, and they had a lot of racial problems this year. And those kind of got some progress when the football team said that they were not going to play football anymore until the head of the university system resigned. And when they said that, he resigned within 24 hours, which made me very proud of my football team for beating racism. And it was nice they beat them because they couldn't beat anybody else last year.
Okay, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Okay, Richard?
I'm still amazed at the fact that Trump is winning in the polls, because nobody will take responsibility for voting for him, which has started to lead me to just completely distrust white people. They all say, well, I didn't vote for him, I didn't vote for him, I didn't vote for him, and methinks thou doth protest too much. Which means that we, realistically are looking at a potential Trump presidency. And if that's the case, the only thing I can say is I hope my district wins in the Hunger Games. That's really all I can hope for with a President Trump.
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. You guys are pretty funny. Pretty funny.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
And you can come back anytime. Doug knows how to get you guys back on. So anytime.
That is not a promise you want to make. Really
You're welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah, we're here with Reverend Jamal Bryant. Hey, Deidre! I got some chicken!
Okay. So you know why I've been laughing, and you can laugh too. You need to check these guys out at the Memphis Comedy Festival. And it's coming up. Doug, you want to repeat when it's coming up? And we do know how much it costs.
Right. Memphis Comedy Festival is all weekend, starting Thursday, April 31st, all the way through Sunday, Thursday, March 31st, all the way through Sunday, April 3rd. What are you going to do with me today? March 31st through April 3rd, Memphis Comedy Festival. There's plenty of events happening. You can check them all out at memphiscomedyfestival.com or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Memphis Comedy Festival. We have a full list of events and everything you can get to, and links to tickets.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And we will make sure that we post that information on the Dialogue with Deidre Facebook page, just in case you missed what Doug just shared with you. We'll be back in a moment. Thanks for watching.
Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. Their licensed, professional pharmacists provide excellent service while filling your wellness needs. They have $4 generic plans and they accept all major insurance providers. And they even offer free delivery for senior citizens. At Taylor Brown, they pride themselves on the personal care and attention they give every customer. Ask about their uninsured discount pharmacy program. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore. They're located 3333 Shelby Drive. Give them a call today at 901-794-3690 or visit them online, TaylorBrownGroup.com. The Taylor Brown Apothecary is your community drugstore.
I like to ride my bike to get some exercise, just kind of clear my head.
I like to ride because it's really fun for me and my fiance to go ride together.
I started riding my bike as a way to save money on gas.
I like to ride my bike mostly because it's fun and it's good exercise.
That's how I get everywhere. It's how I go to grocery stores, go to work. It's how I go to my friend's house.
Sometimes I just like to not even have a particular destination in mind, just to see different parts of the city.
Just going through the park, you see people, and if you're on your bike, you can smile or say hello.
I own 5 bikes. The green Schwinn is my grandfather's bike, and every time I ride it, and he can be with me where I go.
I'm not burning gas, I'm not polluting the air. And in a way, it kind of gets me back to the kid in me, which is kind of cool.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed our world.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
The Carter Malone Group is a full-service public relations agency. Celebrating 10 years of being in business, the Carter Malone Group is located in Midtown Memphis and represents clients across the country. No matter what size your business, if you are interested in promoting your product or service and increasing your market share, contact the firm that can help you meet your goals. The Carter Malone Group. Call 901-278-0881 today.
welcome back to Dialogue with Deidre. We had a great discussion with a couple of comics from the region, Doug Gillon and with Richard Douglas Jones. The Memphis Comedy Festival is coming up March 31st through April the 3rd, and it sounds like it's going to be fun, and if you really want to laugh and enjoy some comics from across the country, then you are going to want to participate in going to check it out. And if you listen to the show, then you now know that the cost is just $70 for access to all of the sets. Might be something that you want to do. And what we'll do is we will make sure that we put that information on the Dialogue with Deidre page so you can go back and you can share it with your friends. So excited that we're going to have a special edition of Dialogue with Deidre and Black Thought on this coming Tuesday, March the 29th. Attorney Benjamin Crump is going to be in our studios, the M1 Network Studios, and you know who Attorney Crump is. He is the civil rights attorney from Florida that took on the case for Trayvon Martin's family and the family of Michael Brown. And so he is going to be in town for the Memphis branch of the NAACP's luncheon that is this Tuesday, March the 29th, and it's going to be at the Cook Convention Center. So if you're interested in hearing Attorney Crump talk about civil rights, the big Black Lives Matter movement, then you want to make sure that you're at the Cook Convention Center for his keynote presentation. But more importantly, you're going to want to tune in to the M Network to hear what he has to say on the special edition of Dialogue with Deidre and Black Thought featuring Dr. Noel Hutchinson and myself. So we're excited about it, real excited about it. You know, he has written a number of articles. Let me just share a little bit with you about his background. You know, Attorney Crump has done while fighting to preserve justice, has earned him a lot of recognition across the country. I think that he served as the president, or he continues to serve as the president of the National Black Lawyers Association, and he's one of the top 100 lawyers in this country. Ebony Magazine has named him one of the most influential African Americans, and he has won the NAACP Thurgood Marshall Award. He sits on the boards of the Innocent Project and the Equal Justice Institute. He serves as the general counsel to the Florida State Conference of the NAACP, and he is a life member of the NAACP and the Urban League. So just a very impressive young man that is going to be in the M Studios on Tuesday, right before he attends the NAACP, Memphis branch NAACP luncheon, where he is the keynote speaker. So excited about that. You know, we feel good about the programming that we have here at the M Network. There's no telling who may come into this studio. We have had, city mayors, from mayors of Memphis, mayors of Chattanooga, mayor of Selma, Alabama. We've had noted artists, specifically on Black Thought. Dr. Hutchinson has had some of the most prolific poets in this country, and comedians on his show, as well as influential thinkers. So this network is not a joke. I mean, we have people who come into our studio, come into our town, and then they seek us out because they want to be on our network. They want to be interviewed by one of us. And so if there is a story out there or something that you're interested in, reach out to us and let us know. If it fits within the guidelines of our programming, we'd be more than happy to bring someone on one of our shows to be interviewed to talk about those things that are important to our viewers, because that's the reason we're here. We're here to make sure that we let you know what's going on in your community. A couple of things I think I heard Doc Hutchinson talk about the challenge that EDGE has. You know, I'm a former economic development growth engine board member. I just resigned from the board a couple of months ago. And that's a future show we're going to have in the next couple of weeks where we talk about minority and women-owned businesses participating in economic opportunities here in the Memphis and Shelby County community. They have a decision to make. I know that the Chamber of Commerce is making a recommendation. I'm not sure that recommendation is the direction that EDGE needs to go in. Of course, I no longer have a vote. I no longer have a say in what happens, but one thing a good friend of mine always told me, Joyce Abusi, she's a power broker in St. Louis, Missouri. She told me, Deidre, if you have any voice at all, you need to use it for the good of the people. And when you have an opportunity to be at the table, you need to let people know that you're at the table for them. And so, although I may not be on the EDGE board any longer, that doesn't mean that I don't have a voice. And let me just say I do, and I will use it, because I will be at the next EDGE board meeting to talk about, you only have a few minutes, but I will make sure that those minutes count. To talk about my position, and my position is one that a number of local business owners have, minority, women-owned business owners have, in terms of it should be a requirement that businesses that come to the city of Memphis, the county of Shelby, who are looking for pilot, and that is tax abatement for a certain period of time, to a certain degree, should be required to do business with local businesses, minority businesses, and women-owned businesses. It should be a requirement. It should not be optional. It should be a requirement. So we're going to be talking more about that in an upcoming show of Dialogue with Deidre. I hope that you've enjoyed today's show. We so much enjoyed bringing it to you, and we'll see you next week. Eddie, are we going to be on Monday? We're going to be on Monday? Yeah. Okay. We'll see you. We'll be back here Monday at noon on Monday, but we also will have a special edition, a joint show, Dialogue with Deidre and Black Thought, on Tuesday with attorney Benjamin Crump. We wish you a happy Easter, a good Friday, and we'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching.